You are listening to episode 19 of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. I am finally feeling better. You can hear it in my voice. I actually felt sick for, I would say, about 5 days. I had a fever the first day or two, and then I had a headache and my throat hurt, and I'm pretty sure I had a couple of ear infections. Anyways, I was able to get completely better, didn't have to end up going to the doctor, so I'm thankful for that, and I am back to 100%. So that is great news for me. Today I want to talk about where I source my groceries. This is something that I always want to know from other people who are living a natural lifestyle, where they're finding the best deals, where they are sourcing things like meat and grains and all of the things that go into having a from scratch kitchen. And so today I'm going to share with you what I personally do and where I get everything. My name is Lisa, mom of 6 and creator of the blog and YouTube channel Farmhouse on Boone. Join me as I share with you my love for creating a handmade home from scratch cooking and a little mom and entrepreneur life along the way. Now this of course changes throughout seasons. In the summertime, it is really easy to get organic, fresh produce either from my own garden or from a local farmer's market. From where we live now, we have probably 3 or 4 different farmers markets within a 30-mile radius. And so it becomes really easy to get farm fresh eggs and organic produce and even meats from all of those places. It makes the whole thing just a lot easier. But since it's February right now, it's pretty fresh in my brain what it's like to not be able to have access to that at all times. And so I can tell you what we are currently doing. Now, in my absolute perfect world, we have a dairy cow out there that we are milking every day. We have a bunch of vegetables put away in the fridge in the form of being fermented or in a root cellar, or my pantry is lined with canned things from our garden. But that is definitely not the reality, and I don't know in this season of life if it's even feasible for it to be. So last year we moved into this place, we right away started ripping out the kitchen and dealt with a pretty massive renovation. We washed dishes in the sink in the bathroom for 6 months. We still don't have fencing outside, which we'd really hope to do, but with all of what's going on inside, that hasn't been possible yet. We had a new baby in 2019. So all of that to say, I am so thankful that we live in a time and a place with grocery stores and online shopping and tons of farmers around in my area who are doing the work so that I can purchase from them, because I do hope to have a really large garden this summer, and I hope to eventually get the fencing up and get some animals, but with 6 kids, a lot of weeks, it's all we can do just to get our regular responsibilities done. So maybe that's for a different season of life. We'll see. All I know is I'm not going to stress about it. And we have really good access around us. So let's start with dairy. We get our milk. We go to a weekly pickup. It's about 30 minutes from where we live. There is a farm that is probably an hour and a half from where we live, and they have several drop-off locations. So they drop off about 30 minutes from here. Now there's another farm in the area that also does something similar, and they drop off to an even closer location. The reason we don't usually go with them is they have their milk priced about double what the other farm does, and they only deliver every other week. And it's not as easy as just showing up and buying the milk. You have to place an order in advance, and so it just a lot of times doesn't happen for me. So we actually have it on Tuesday nights, so we will go tonight and go get our 4 gallons of raw milk. She also sells butter and eggs, which is amazing because right now we have 11 chickens, but we aren't getting enough eggs to sustain how many eggs we eat in our family. And so having a source for someone who has farm fresh eggs is really vital. So that's what we do for dairy to make milk kefir. I also like to make my yogurt, but lately I have been snagging the organic yogurt from Aldi. It's just so easy, and I just use all of our milk to make kefir. Now occasionally The kids will drink a cup of milk, but we normally forget about that, and it ends up all 4 gallons get fermented into kefir because we always have kefir on the counter. It's a constant thing, and that's about the amount that we use every week for smoothies and kefir. And then, of course, the butter that she has as well. And when I run out of butter, I will also get it. There is organic butter or Kerrygold at Aldi, which is what I typically get. The Kerrygold is grass-fed cows, so that is my preference. Now, sometimes my Aldi doesn't carry that, and I have to get it from Walmart. So that's what we do about butter. Now, cheese. This is something I discovered about a year ago, maybe a little bit less. Azure Standard. Now, I know they have drop-offs all over the country, and to be honest, that is what kind of stopped me because the closest drop-off for us is about 30 minutes away. Now, if I were to be ordering a lot of stuff from them, that would totally make sense. But the only thing that I see on Azure Standard that is a good price that isn't something that I can get other places because, they have good meats and they have produce, but I can get all of those things at better prices other places. And so the only thing I like from Azure Standard is the cheese. But I never wanted to drive 30 minutes for the pickup. So it was recent that I discovered that they would deliver this big block of raw cheddar cheese for $7 to my house. So that might sound like a lot for shipping because I don't know about you, but I'm used to paying no shipping with everything online. So it sounds like a lot, but it actually is so worth it when you really think about the amount of time it would take to go to these pickups. So now every time we're out of cheese, I just order my big block. I will link it in the show notes because I can't remember the size of it, but it's a good size block of organic raw cheddar, which is exactly what I want. I love raw milk, and we used to have a dairy in our area that made raw cheese, but they ended up going out of business or just deciding to retire. And so I hadn't had access to that except for the raw. If you go and get raw cheese at like a Kroger or a Schnucks or whatever big chain you have in your area, it is so expensive. It is like $10 for a tiny little block, and that was not really doable for me. So this has been a really awesome discovery, especially in the winter. Now, I will tell you that one time we had the cheese delivered in the heat of the day, and I forgot to pay attention to the fact that it was getting delivered that day, and I didn't check my mail. And not saying I'd recommend this, but we still ended up eating it, and we were just fine because that was last summer. So that is something to keep in mind. It is a perishable thing being delivered. So you need to keep an eye on when it's going to be delivered, or if it's winter, you're good to go. Mine should be delivered. I just ordered some any day now. All right, let's talk about produce. Now, I kind of go by the Dirty Dozen list. If you Google it, you will see which things can be purchased not organic and be just fine, and which things need to be organic. Now, I'm an Aldi fan. If you don't already know, you can probably tell, and they do offer a pretty wide selection of organic produce. In the frozen section, it's where I hit up mostly for Aldi, especially in the winter. I get organic frozen blueberries and strawberries pretty much every time I go to Aldi or order Instacart, which I just did. They should be here any minute. I will get 5 bags each of the organic strawberries and the organic blueberries. Now, the reason for that is they are perfect for kefir smoothies, and they aren't much more than the conventional. Aldi is by far the best price I've found on anything, but there are a few things that I can't get at Aldi. So that's why I do most of my shopping there. I also get their organic frozen green beans, frozen peas, and frozen broccoli. Occasionally I'll get the organic frozen corn, but I don't usually use corn very often, so I don't grab that as much as I grab the others. Now, in the fresh produce section, I get conventional onions, avocados, and bananas. Those are things that are on the Clean 15 list, and so I feel fine getting them there. Now, I do occasionally, for convenience sake, grab the carrots there, but they do not have organic, and I would prefer to get organic, as well as potatoes. So in my perfect world, when I get my groceries from all the places that I want to, I get my organic potatoes and organic carrots from Walmart. They have the best prices on those, and like I said, the Aldi in my area doesn't even offer them organic. I also get organic bell peppers from Aldi regularly. That's something I always grab. I find myself always grabbing the same things over and over. I usually fill my cart with a lot of frozen fruit, frozen veggies, and fresh fruit and potatoes from Aldi. Now, if I have to grab extra eggs, if I haven't found someone locally, which usually if I go to anywhere and they have local fresh eggs, like they have a little sign out, or if it is my milk lady, I'll grab as many as they let me. So I might buy 10 dozen because they're not going to go bad. And usually it's just a problem in the winter to find enough eggs that are farm fresh with the bright yellow yolks. But if I have to, I will grab the organic eggs at Aldi, but it isn't my preference. The yolks aren't any different color than the conventional ones, and so it's not what I prefer to do. Usually my motivation for buying organic in something like an egg is the GMO grain that they were fed. Now for meat, let's talk about meat because this is something that takes a little while to find all your sources, but once you do, it's really easy. If I'm in a super big hurry, I will just buy a chicken from Aldi, but my preference is we have a farm in the area that offers a bulk discount on chickens, so I will buy 30 at a time. And they will be at a pickup. They are pasture raised and I'll get a discount, and then I will stock the freezer for that. That would last me a really long time because we wouldn't go through any more than one chicken in a week. Cook one, use it, eat as like a roasted chicken, and then put leftovers in something like tacos or chicken pot pie or a white chicken chili, and that would be enough for the week. So whenever I can do one of those bulk orders, it will last me a really, really long time. I do the same thing with beef. We order half a cow. My sister and I split that so that we each get a quarter of a cow from a farm out of Centralia, Missouri. I will leave links, if you are local to me, to these places down in the show notes. If you are not local, I recommend getting on a website called Eat Wild. There's a few other websites as well that you can find local farmers in the area that I'll leave show note links to. But the best and easiest way that I find to dig up these sources is to ask around. Talk to people on your local Facebook marketplaces or maybe your local moms groups or homeschool groups or wherever. Just ask around. People have sources. There are people who are doing hobby farms who want to sell what they are getting excess of, because anybody who's milking a cow would tell you that there are times of the year when the cow's completely dry, but there are also times of the year where they have more milk than they could possibly know what to do with and they want to share. Or if they are raising a few hogs, they only need one for their family and they are looking for a few customers. I have a friend like that locally who she has meat that she sells, and so that's an option as well. Now we do also order a hog in bulk. I actually just ordered one because we ran out from a local farm, and he will tell us where to call. There's a local processing place, and we'll call and tell them all the cuts that we want, and then we'll just go and pick it up. The key with meat is to order in bulk because it's a little bit of a hassle ordering it and getting all of the cuts and picking it up. And so if you order in bulk, it's something that you don't have to deal with really often. So right now, for example, my freezer is full of a quarter of a cow and a deer that we got during deer season. There's my groceries now. Okay, so my groceries were just delivered from Instacart. That is a luxury that we ended up finding out about whenever we moved to this place, and oh my word, I cannot tell you how amazing that is. Anyways, let's go into a few other categories. For oils, I am a regular purchaser of coconut oil more than anything else. I do get that from Aldi. They have a really good one. They actually just launched, I just saw the other day, a double size one, because the usual one comes in like a normal mason jar size, but it is an unrefined, organic, all that good stuff, coconut oil with a really great coconut smell. Usually when I go, I will buy several, so it isn't something I have to worry about not having enough of. I'll grab like a whole case of it whenever we go. I also get avocado oil from Aldi, but I don't buy it super regularly. The only thing I really use it for is avocado mayo. For spices and salt, I get a lot of my organic spices from Aldi. They do have a few things that I can't find on there, or they do have a few things that they do not have a few things that I want. That's what I meant to say. So I will usually get those off of Thrive Market. There's a few things I get off Thrive Market. I'll go into that in a minute, but I will get some of my organic spices off there. Now salt, typically I will get salt either from Walmart or, believe it or not, the little Marshalls and what are some of those little stores? Like TJ Maxx type stores. You know how they have those little grocery sections? Well, they always have a big bag of Himalayan salt, and that is usually where I will find one whenever I'll dip into there just for salt. Now, sometimes I'll order it off of Amazon if I'm in a pinch and I need it, or, in the next 2 days, or Thrive Market. I was looking on my order history here just to see what it is I order off Thrive Market, and I do get it from there sometimes as well. Coffee, I get that from Aldi. They have an organic whole bean, which I love. So that is perfect for us. Supplements, I get a prenatal vitamin that I'm still taking now, as well as I take vitamin D. I take 6,000. I use a day because that's what my midwife recommended for nursing. And I get those just off of Amazon. Grains, that's a big one. So quinoa, which I don't use a ton of, I will get that from Aldi. They just really expanded their organic section, so I'll get that there. The biggest grain that I use right now that I actually just found a good source for is einkorn berries. I have been using einkorn for a while now, but for a while I was buying the all-purpose einkorn off Amazon from Jovial. But I recently found a company online that has the bulk einkorn berries, and I have a mill, so that's not a problem, for around $2 a pound, which was the absolute cheapest I could find. There was lots of other options online that were $3 and $4 a pound. And so I have started buying them in bulk. I actually made a little link so that I have an easy link to remember to tell people, but bit.ly/einkornberries will bring you to a website called Mockmill. They offer, if it looks like just a mill website, but if you go into shop and then you go to organic grains, they have einkorn as one of the first options. And if you get the 50-pound bag, which is what I've been getting, and I keep it in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. I get my lid buckets from Tractor Supply. Well, I get the buckets from Tractor Supply, but the lids come from Amazon. They're a screw-on, screw-off lid, which is how I store my grains. Again, I have that in my Amazon shop. So if you go to amazon.com/shop/farmhouse-on-Boone, I'm double checking here that it's actually in there. If you go under my favorite kitchen tools, I have the lids link there. Actually, I don't, but I will add them so that way, by the time this goes out, it will be there, because those are a game changer. If you want to order flour or grains in bulk, you need some kind of storage solution that is that is airtight enough to keep bugs out, but that is also not difficult to open every single time that you want to mill grains. Because I used to just have the normal 5-gallon lid bucket lids, and they take forever to get off, and they're such a pain. But these serve both, that they are airtight and keep bugs out, and they're super easy to open. So that's where I've been getting mine, bit.ly/einkornberries. It's a really easy way for me to constantly refer people to it because I don't have to go find my link. And it is very cheap. It's around $2 per pound, which is the best I could find. I looked on a couple of different co-ops. Believe it or not, Young Living sells einkorn berries, which I had absolutely no idea. And it's a fairly good price, but it isn't as good as this price. This is the winner, organic einkorn wheat berries. Other grains, I really don't buy a whole lot of other grains and beans. If I do, I usually will grab the dried beans from Aldi, and there's maybe a few other grains that I would get from Aldi, but maybe some rice, but not often. Typically quinoa, and at the moment einkorn. I used to buy regular wheat berries, not the ancient einkorn, the modern day ones, from my Country Life Natural Foods co-op. which that leads me to honey. I like to get raw organic honey, and we used to always get it from an Amish community near us, but recently when we moved and it's just such a hassle to go out there, I did a truck delivery from a co-op called Country Life Natural Foods. Now they require a $500 minimum order for free delivery, but my sister and I each got a 5-gallon bucket of honey, and there's just a few other things to make it equal that $500. So it was super convenient, and then now I have a bunch of raw organic honey. All right, am I forgetting anything? I think that pretty much sums up where we get our groceries. It seems like a lot of places, but keep in mind that a lot of it is ordering online, and then a lot of it is ordering meat in bulk, which means that you only have to do it very infrequently. And then I get all of my fresh stuff just mostly from Aldi, as you heard, but I will go into Walmart for a few things. They do have those organic carrots. They have a bigger herb selection, so if I want some fresh herbs for something, they have more of it. Aldi did just start carrying organic celery, but I used to have to go to Walmart for that. So I'll fill in the gaps there, but in a pinch, if I really am feeling behind and I only want to get one thing, I will just buy conventional carrots and conventional potatoes at Aldi in the winter. Now in the summer, I'm getting as much produce as possible from local farmers markets. But I think the point is to just do the best you can. If stopping by the store that has the organic carrots is going to completely throw you off and then you're not even going to cook the carrots at all, I say just get the conventional. If you don't have time to make yogurt this week, Aldi offers a really good organic yogurt, and we find ourselves falling back on that a lot. Just do what you can and make the best choice possible. What we try to do the most is to never buy ingredients that are processed in any way. I buy them whole, even if they're not organic, as long as it's not something that has more than 5 ingredients. It is something that belongs in a whole food diet, in my opinion. All right, I will leave lots of links for these types of sources down in the description box. I think I forgot to mention Thrive Market. So there are a few things that I will pick up on there. Let me look through it's mostly things that you don't use much, like xylitol. I've bought that to make homemade toothpaste. Organic maple syrup I get from Thrive Market, but not often because we normally just use honey, but every once in a while I do want some syrup. It just has, a really good flavor for pancakes. Coconut aminos is something that I get on there to make like a stir fry without using soy sauce. Shredded coconut, I get that from Thrive Market. In my perfect world, I would get it from Trader Joe's because when we are down in the city, we go to Trader Joe's. I stock up on coconut milk, shredded coconut. I even stock up on their chicken drumsticks because they have organic chicken drumsticks for $1.99 a pound, which is amazing. But whenever I don't make it there, I do order coconut products on Thrive Market because it's the best price I've found, and I'll just order a bunch of them. I'll get like 3 packages. I'm looking at a recent order. 3 packages of organic shredded coconut. On this order, I got two things of organic pumpkin. This was in the fall. Cacao powder, coconut chips, organic dark chocolate chips, organic raisins. Those are all things that they don't offer organic raisins at our Aldi. And so some of these dried products like that, I will grab off of Thrive Market. They have some good prices, and so I keep my membership for that kind of stuff. Arrowroot flour. I will keep arrowroot on hand to thicken soups or to put in my salmon burgers. Sometimes I use coconut flour. Sometimes I use an arrowroot to kind of hold it together instead of using flour. And then I also order gelatin from there. I will use that to make my organic raw milk yogurt in the Instant Pot. And then also sometimes to add to smoothies, I'll keep gelatin. So mostly the things from Thrive Market I'll keep is just for those little dried products or, pantry staples that I can't find at Aldi. But I would say that I get 90% of things from Aldi, and then I go out of my way for meat, eggs, and dairy from local sources. All right, well, I hope that cleared up for you where we get our groceries. I love listening to podcasts and YouTube videos like this because sometimes I find out about something that I didn't know existed, such as my mock mill discovery of late. That's a recent discovery, and it's really helping us to use einkorn exclusively in my sourdough starter and in all of my sourdough baked goods without the huge price tag that usually comes with or incorporating fresh einkorn flour. All right, well, let me know on Instagram if you have any questions or if there's anything I left out. I'm sure there is something I left out, but that definitely takes care of, I would say, 99% of the groceries that we bring into this house and the sources that we use for them. I have put together a handy cheat sheet for you. So everything that I talked about in this episode, I put it into a printable checklist so you can print it out, and I have all of my sources. Now this comes as 10 years of compiling where to get things, where the best things are to get things. And so I have it in a nice little list. Now, if you don't have an Aldi in your area, of course, this will have to be tailored for what you do have in your area, but it at least gives you an idea of all of my online sources and all the different places that I get food, all put into one little checklist. You can get that at bit.ly/farmhouse grocery checklist. Thank you so much for listening to the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. If you found this information helpful, would you please leave me a 5-star review in iTunes? That is just what tells iTunes that people actually like listening to this podcast, and it will make it to where I can keep going and making more episodes as this podcast grows. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast.